Have you ever felt that sublime, almost sacred moment when you finally surrender? When the white-knuckled grip you've had on life, on a dream, on a person, finally loosens, and in that holy exhale, a profound peace washes over you? It's a feeling that whispers a divine truth most of us spend our lives ignoring. We are taught to push, to strive, to relentlessly carve our will into the fabric of reality. But what if the greatest masterpieces of our lives are not carved, but revealed? What if the universe isn't a block of stubborn marble to be chiseled, but a divine river current waiting to carry you to your destiny? If this message finds you, if it resonates with a deep and quiet part of your soul, know that you are not here by accident. You are being called to a new way of being. Let us know in the comments by typing "I am ready to flow," and be sure to like and subscribe, for this is a journey we will take together into the heart of divine alignment. There exists a profound and almost magical energy that awakens the moment you cease your struggle. Think about it. That feeling when you've been clenching something in your fist so tightly for so long. Your muscles ache, your mind is fixated, every fiber of your being is concentrated on the act of holding on. You've been pushing relentlessly, forcing every piece of a puzzle to fit where you think it belongs. And then, in a moment of pure exhaustion or sudden clarity, you just let go. You open your hand. You release the tension, and in that space, in that quiet act of surrender, you witness a miracle. Things begin to click into place. The puzzle pieces find their own way, assembling a picture more beautiful than the one you were trying to force. They settle into a perfect arrangement that you never could have orchestrated with your conscious, striving mind. This is not a coincidence. It is a universal law. Sadly, most people will journey through their entire existence fighting against this sacred truth. They are born into a world that preaches a gospel of effort, a scripture of struggle. We are conditioned from our earliest days to believe that more effort always equals better results. It is a relentless mantra echoed in every corner of our culture. We are told that if you are not constantly pushing, constantly doing, constantly muscling your way through the obstacles of life, then you are falling behind. You are branded as lazy. You are accused of giving up. You are told you're simply not trying hard enough. The vibration of this belief system is one of frantic, anxious energy. It's the energy of a runner on a treadmill, sweating and striving but ultimately remaining in the same spot, wondering why the scenery never changes. It creates a soul-deep exhaustion, a feeling of being at war with the very fabric of existence. But what if I told you that this entire approach, this deeply ingrained belief in the nobility of the grind, is fundamentally backward? What if the very act of forcing, of pushing against the universal current, is precisely what is keeping you stuck in the mud? What if your struggle is the anchor, not the engine? We exist within a culture that worships the hustle, that glorifies the relentless grind. It's a culture that has turned burnout into a badge of honor and tranquility, into a sign of weakness. It tells you to build your life brick by brick, with sheer force of will, battling every obstacle with brute strength. This is the path of the ego, the path of the mind that believes it is separate from the universe and must conquer it to survive. It is a path of immense friction, resistance, and ultimately, deep spiritual fatigue. But there is a secret that the mystics and sages have known for millennia. There is a truth that nature demonstrates in every rustling leaf and flowing river. The most profound breakthroughs, the most beautiful and lasting relationships, the most fulfilling and soul-aligned opportunities, they do not arise from force. They are not born of struggle. They blossom from a state of flow. They manifest through alignment. They come from a deep, intuitive wisdom that knows precisely when to push and when to pause. It's a sacred dance, knowing when to take inspired action and when to simply allow. This is not a passive existence. It is a deeply engaged and responsive one. It is the difference between trying to paddle a canoe upstream against a raging river and learning to use a rudder to gently guide your vessel with the powerful current, letting the river's own strength carry you forward with grace and ease. Think about the simple truths of your own experience. Have you ever tried desperately to remember something, a name, a fact, a memory, and the harder you strain your mind, the more elusive it becomes? You squeeze your mind, trying to force the information out. What happens in the very moment you give up? The moment you stop trying, you relax. you turn your attention elsewhere, and suddenly, the answer floats into your consciousness as gently as a feather. It comes to you. Or consider the search for love. When you are desperately seeking a partner, chasing every possibility, you emit a frequency of neediness, of lack. This energy, by its very nature, repels the very thing you desire. But what happens when you finally turn your focus inward? When you decide to cultivate your own garden, to become the person you would want to love? Inevitably, when you are whole and happy within yourself, the right person shows up, drawn not to your emptiness, but to your fullness. They are attracted to the radiant light of your aligned soul. Consider a conversation. When you are trying to force your point, to convince someone of your perspective, you create a wall of resistance. The harder you push, the more they retreat. But what happens when you step back? When you stop talking and truly listen? When you create a space of acceptance for their viewpoint, a genuine connection emerges. You are no longer two egos clashing. You are two souls communicating. This fundamental principle applies to every facet of your life. It's a shift from a mindset of conquest to one of co-creation. You must understand, this is not a call to become passive. This is not about giving up on your dreams or becoming lazy. This is about understanding a fundamental law of the universe that most people never learn to harness, a law that governs the very flow of divine energy. There is a profound difference between inspired action and forced action. They may look similar on the surface, but their energetic signatures are worlds apart. Forced action is born from the mind, from fear, from a sense of lack. It feels heavy, like you're wading through thick mud. It drains your soul and leaves you feeling depleted, even if you achieve your goal. Inspired action, however, is born from the soul, from a place of inner knowing, from a connection to divine guidance. It feels light, effortless, and energizing. When you are taking inspired action, it doesn't feel like you are working alone. It feels like the entire universe is conspiring with you, opening doors and clearing the path before you. It doesn't drain you, it fills you up. It feels like you are working with something greater than yourself, not against it. The problem, the great spiritual challenge of our time, is that we have lost the ability to distinguish between these two types of action. Our senses have been dulled by the constant noise of the world. We have become so addicted to the feeling of doing something, anything, that we mistake motion for progress. We keep ourselves busy to avoid the terrifying discomfort of the unknown. We fill every silent moment with tasks and distractions because sitting in uncertainty feels like a small death to the ego. And so, we force conversations. We force opportunities. We force relationships. We force outcomes. We build our lives based on a blueprint of fear rather than a blueprint of faith. We operate from a place of deep mistrust in the universe's benevolent design. Let's be honest about why this shift is so difficult. Why does letting go feel so terrifying? It's because we have been deeply conditioned to believe that struggle is synonymous with progress. We have been taught that if something isn't hard, it isn't worthwhile. This is a painful lie that keeps humanity in a cycle of suffering. We've been sold the idea that pain is the price of admission for success, that sacrifice is the only currency the universe accepts. We have been taught that the universe is a harsh and indifferent place that is working against us, and therefore we must fight for every single inch of ground. We see relaxation as the enemy of achievement and stillness as a form of failure. Our entire nervous system is wired for this battle, constantly on high alert, ready to push back against a world we perceive as hostile. Yes, there are absolutely times when effort is required. There are times when you need to show up, do the work, and push through resistance. But there is a distinct quality to that effort when it is aligned. It doesn't feel like you're swimming upstream. It doesn't feel like a battle against a merciless foe. It feels like the focused, powerful effort of a master craftsman working in harmony with his materials. It's the effort that strengthens, not depletes. It's the effort that polishes the soul, revealing its inner brilliance. The resistance you feel is not the universe telling you no. It is the universe testing your commitment and strengthening you for the next level of your journey. But this is a very different energy from the frantic, desperate forcing that comes from a place of fear. The great secret is that the universe has a timing that is far more intelligent than your personal timeline. Life has a sacred rhythm that is different from your hurried pace. And when you learn to dance with that rhythm instead of fighting it, pure magic begins to unfold in your life. This doesn't mean you become a passive victim of circumstance, quite the opposite. It means you become exquisitely responsive. You transform from a fighter into a dancer. You learn to read the subtle signals the universe is constantly sending you. You learn to feel the energy of situations and people. You develop a powerful intuition that allows you to recognize when you are moving with the divine current and when you are swimming against it. It means you develop the profound wisdom to know when to press forward with courage and when to step back with grace. You learn to see closed doors not as failures, but as divine redirection, a loving course correction from the universe guiding you towards something even better. Most people never develop this wisdom because they are too busy doing to actually feel what is happening. They are so fixated on their destination that they miss all the beautiful guiding signs along the way. They are so rigidly committed to their plan that they ignore the miraculous opportunities that don't fit into their narrow expectations. Their ego's agenda blinds them to their soul's true path. But here is what I have learned through years of pushing against closed doors, through countless moments of exhaustion from trying to control everything, through the painful realization that most of my suffering came from my own resistance to what was actually happening. The universe is not your adversary. It is your partner in creation. And to align with this divine partner, you must first learn to align with yourself. This is the key. You have to know what you truly authentically want, not what your parents, your friends, or society has told you that you should want. You must get quiet enough to hear the whispers of your own soul. You have to understand your own natural rhythms, your authentic desires, your genuine, core values. Because if you do not know who you truly are, how can you possibly know which path is truly yours? Most people are so busy trying to be who they think they should be that they never discover who they actually are. They are so focused on meeting external expectations that they lose touch with their own internal guidance system, that divine compass that resides within every human heart. They are so afraid of making the wrong choice that they never learn to trust their own instincts. They live their lives based on a script written by others, and they wonder why their soul feels so unfulfilled. They are playing a role, not living a life. And when you are not living in your own truth, every action you take will feel like a force, because you are forcing yourself to be someone you are not. There is a certain energy you emit when you are forcing. It is desperate, it is tense, it is needy. People can feel this vibration, even if you think you are hiding it well. Opportunities can sense it too. When you are gripping too tightly, when you are trying too hard, when you are pushing against the natural flow, you actually repel the very things you are trying to attract. You create a dissonant frequency that is out of harmony with the abundance of the universe. But when you are aligned, everything shifts. When you are moving from a place of inner knowing rather than outer desperation, your energy changes, your presence changes, the way people respond to you changes. The opportunities that show up in your life change. It is as if you are suddenly speaking the same language as life itself. This isn't some mystical, abstract concept. This is practical wisdom. Observe any master at work. A skilled musician doesn't force the notes. They feel the music and allow it to flow through them, becoming a vessel for a beauty greater than themselves. A great athlete doesn't fight their body. They work with it, finding that perfect sweet spot where effort and ease meet in a moment of peak performance. A wise leader doesn't try to control every single outcome. They create the conditions for success and then skillfully guide the energy that naturally emerges. These same principles apply directly to your life. There is a way to pursue your goals that feels forced and a way that feels aligned. There is a way to build relationships that exhausts everyone involved, and a way that energizes and uplifts everyone. The difference lies in your relationship with control. When you are forcing, you are trying to control everything. When you are aligned, you are controlling what you can, your mindset, your responses, your actions, and you are flowing with what you cannot. When you learn to live in this state of alignment, something truly interesting happens. You become a force of nature yourself. Not because you are pushing harder, but because you are moving in perfect harmony with the deeper currents that are already at work. And that's when you start to realize that everything you've been trying so desperately to force into existence was already on its way to you. The life you are meant to live, the relationships you are meant to have, the work you are meant to do, they are all already seeking you, just as you are seeking them. But they cannot find you when you are busy being someone else. They cannot reach you when you are forcing yourself down paths that don't fit, when you are trying to control outcomes that were never yours to control. So, stop forcing, start aligning, trust the process, trust yourself. Trust that there is an intelligence at work that is far greater than your small plans and your desperate strategies. Because the moment you do, everything changes. The moment you stop fighting life, life stops fighting you. The moment you start flowing with what is starts flowing toward what could be. And that's when you realize that all you ever had to do was get out of your own way long enough to let your beautiful destiny arrive.